when I first started working with JavaScript, I didn't understand how, like, if I had an HTML document with 3 different JavaScript files, I didn't understand how these JavaScript files related to each other. So, yeah, if I had these 3 files, and let's say in all 3 of these files, I wanted to call this useful thing that I want to reuse. I thought that I had to do this. I thought that I had to literally declare the function in each of the files. So I would write code that would look like this. And it turns out that you don't actually have to do this. It would work if these things weren't present. But let me show you what a trace of this would look like. So we've got this HTML document. We sent a request out, got a response. The response is this HTML, and our browser is going to go through it line by line. So it goes through line 1, line 2, and on line 3, it sees a script tag. So it sends a request out, sends a request out for this 1.js. Response comes back, and the JavaScript environment loads, the response gets loaded into the JavaScript environment, and this then gets executed line by line. And on line 3 over here, this function is declared, and on line 5, it's called. So useful would be logged out. Okay, so once that finishes, the browser continues to go through the HTML document, sees a script tag for 2.js, sends the request out for it, response comes back, gets loaded into the JavaScript environment, and starts to execute it. And so it arrives here, and it declares, it starts to declare this function, useful thing I want to reuse, but it turns out that this is already here. Like, it's already been declared for us. So this isn't really necessary. But it turns out that, it does it again, and then this is called. And the same thing happens here. Request goes out, response comes back. Same thing. So basically, it's as if what I had here with these 3 different files and the 3 different script tags, it's the same thing as if it were one big file that looked like this. Yeah, it's as if it was one big file that looked like this. So again, when this is being declared, it already existed here. So this was unnecessary. And let me show you that. So I got 1.js, let's not even call it here, that declares useful thing I want to reuse. And in 2.js and 3.js, well, let's keep it actually, I'm using it, but I'm not declaring the functions here, I'm just using them. So let's see the result of that. This is my HTML file, load it, and in the console, useful is logged out 3 times. And let's actually look at the actual requests that are made out. Request goes out for test.html, response comes back, goes through this, request out for 1.js, request, response, declares it, runs it, cool, HTML continues, 2.js, request goes out, here, response comes back, and as you can see, it's not even declaring the function, but it existed already. So in this case, it's going to look like this. And, I don't have these comments in here, but I'll keep them. So at this point, it looks like this. And because this was declared already, I can make this call. Okay, let's continue. Back to the HTML. So this went out, and it responded, executed. Now it's going to continue to go through the HTML on line 5. Request is going to go out for 3.js. Response comes back. It's going to load the response into the JavaScript environment, and it's going to call this function. And again, this isn't here. This function was declared already for us in this JavaScript environment, and because it was declared for us, the function call works. So again, what I have here with these 3 different files being loaded in this order, it's as if I did this. It's literally as if I did this. And the reason for that is because it's loaded in this order. If it were loaded in a different order, like if 3.js were here, it would look like this. It would look like this.